Week in review. This is something we do every week where we talk about what's been on the MTD CNC website and the top 5 videos this week. When it comes to the top 5, I mean the videos with the most traffic. In the number 5 spot is the TT 1300 review that I did with Tony Dale, which is a Doosan.
Are they all going to be your videos, Paul?
Well, you'll have to wait and see. It's the TT 1300 twin spindle, twin turret machine review I did with Tony Dale. That's collated thousands of views this week. There's also the review that we did, Geo, at number 4 at Colchester, or on a Colchester machine at ProDrive. They're multi-axis lathes, you know, that one we walked around and looked at the 2 different lathes that people might not associate Colchester machine tools with. They now make multi-axis, Y-axis, twin spindle machines. People always think Colchester turning the handles.
But not anymore CNCs?
All full CNCs. So,
and who supplied the Colchester?
Colchester machine.
It is Colchester. Okay.
Colchester Machine Tool Solutions. So, and we've also got another video coming to the channel. In fact, over the weekend from them at ProDrive, the video in detail about the partnership.
Now, ProDrive was the one they got all the old motors and things like that, haven't they?
Yes, that's right.
And new motors. So they work quite heavily with the racing industry.
Nice. Hence the name, I suppose. I'll get my coat.
It's a really good video, that one. But that was in at number 4. Number 3.
This is better than Top of the Pops.
Number 3 was Geo's video with on the Haas programming that you did, which has done exceptionally well as well.
Did that take, we need to mention this, did that have a lot of animation stuff in the background?
No, not really.
Oh, I thought...
No, not at all, really. I think Ben explained it really well, actually. I think it was more of a case that the control is exactly the same. So, for example, if you were a Haas user from 20 years ago, all of the buttons are in the same place, so you've still got a very good understanding of the control. But internally, all of the software has evolved, so you've got some real new nice features that you can use. It's like a bit of a inbuilt CAD system, really, so it can simplify the programming even further. Just illustrating how the system or the control has evolved, and it's Haas's own control, similar to how we mentioned Tornus's control. I think we should do a podcast on programming coming up soon.
I'm busy that week.
I mean, this week alone, so you've done talk about Tornus with their control. Yeah. I was actually with Steve Alker, who's got who runs Essential Engineering Solutions, on Tuesday, where we were doing some programming videos on Fanuc, on how you use manual guide, how you program in G codes, talking through the G codes. They'll be really strong pieces and very educational for people that want to know more about CNC. And then, of course, you've done the video that's done really well at number 3 this week with the Haas programming solution. I've done one at XYZ as well, looking at so people need to know, don't they? They want to see. I think it is a big fear factor for some that they don't want to change controls from one manufacturer to another. They get comfortable with what they're doing, but actually these things, to adapt from one to another is
one
pretty
thing I've
easy.
got to say with the controls, they are becoming so much easier to use because they're more conversational now, aren't they? So they're prompting you, they're actually asking you a question rather than you having to figure out exactly how to program it from start to finish. The cycles, the inbuilt cycles, the pecking cycles, the pocket cycles, all of the different cycles really simplify the programming.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Colin does pecking at the weekend.
Tries to.
Heavy pecking. Heavy petting? One of the two.
I'm not prepared to comment, Paul. But you're not invited.
Number 2 in the number 2 slot was prime turning from Sandvik, a video that Joe did here as a technical corner. Do you know what prime turning is?
It is cutting both sides, 2 sides at the same time?
No, it's when you turn backwards. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Ball nose cutter, going
backwards. Yeah.
Oh, so you're cutting, going forwards and backwards.
Yeah, bi-directional, a bit like you.
Oh, wow. You can say it's 2021. You can say that, Paul. Absolutely. But when you say prime turning, why can't you do that previously?
I just you can. You have been able to do it for some time, but I think it's a technology that people aren't using enough,
right?
Because it can cut literally cycle times in half.
Yep.
Well, you're always in
tool wear because you're using both sides of the tool. So many benefits to it. And in number 1 spot this week with a whopping 6,500 plus views. It was not Colin. It was a video from Delau. And Joe did with for Mazak at Delau, where they were loading one of their Mazak machines. And I think we've mentioned this on the podcast before. They're loading their machines with a cobot. I think they invested 25 grand in this.
That's right. It was not a lot to automate it, was it? Yeah.
And it's turned this thing into an unmanned running solution. So we've had a whopping 236,000 engagements on our content this week. It's always good to know that our audience is growing. The podcast that was on the MTD CNC site this week was one you did with Williams, wasn't it?
Yeah, Williams
with,
Racing.
with Al. I haven't yet listened to that, but I know. But
it was Joe was involved in that too, Joe Reynolds. So it was from when we were at the Myra Institute, where we were doing the educational day alongside Zeiss and Williams Racing, and Al was kind enough to kind of come in and do a podcast with us, and it was brilliant because it was quite insightful. Really, it was about how we believe that the future of engineering is all down to the next generation of engineers, and how we've got to try and do our parts to kind of get them into the industry. I think Formula One automatically attracts the young generation of engineers, but the rest of the engineering industry, I think, unfortunately, doesn't attract them in the same way. And I think that it's still at the forefront of technology. And MTD as well, Paul, and you, Colin, with your network, are doing stuff with the digital CVs and working alongside educational. So I think we're all working all on the same path anyway.
Listing jobs on MTD network. Can I add a couple of videos?
Yeah, I've still got a few more to go. But that was the top 5. The podcast was from Williams. You can download that on whatever podcast platform that you.
And he does talk about the race team as well. So if you're interested in the Williams race team and Formula One team, he does touch upon that too.
Go on, add your points.
No, that's it, I'm done. No, what it was, a couple of things. It's an open house in October. We're starting to work on that very soon. So in terms of trailers,
can we come back to that? Because I just need to finish this week in review. Because what happens is, if you're watching this, we obviously film this podcast, but we cut this bit of the week in review out, and that is hosted on the platform too, so people can just find out what we've been up to.
2 things in, if I can do that then, if that's right.
On this week, other videos and stories on the MTD CNC website in the last 7 days. DMG Murray's partnership with Red Bull Racing, Honda, a couple of technical corners and stories from you at PSL software, which is probably one that you may have mentioned in a sec. The iGroove from Sodic. This video has been released. It's been heavily talked about last week, actually, on the show, where the wire turns when you're on the wire EDM machine to give better surface finish and better tolerances. Unbelievably,
so the wire is actually
spinning. Unbelievably, I was at a company, Pico, which we'll talk about in a minute as well, and the guy actually came up to me and he said, I've seen some photos on social media about Sodic's thing from you guys. When's that video going live? And it actually went live yesterday, but they use Sodic machines, and then actually going up to Coventry to look at it as well.
Right.
Prima Power, if you're interested in bending, forming, fabrication, sheet metal, then we've got a technical corner with Barry Rooney that's just been released on the channel yesterday from Prima Power. The UK launch of the Matsura MAM 7252V, that video is also released. Cutting Blue and their use of Hoffman tools has also been released on the channel this week, so lots to see there. Plus, also finally, the Fanuc C600 IC EDM machine, a new machine which has
You've missed out one of the best videos of the week,
and the one that you're going to mention, which
you mentioned PSL Data Track. That ties in nicely because I was chatting to someone about PSL Data Track the other day. Oh no, I wasn't initially chatting away, finding out about the EEI. So we do the Engineering Economic Indicator, which has been going since 2020. And the results are in for June. So I know it's August now. It takes a bit of a while to get it filmed and everything like that. Engineering is at almost a high for this month. It really is. So, and it's been positive throughout 2021, which is absolutely fantastic. But I was asking him about his EEI indicator score. And I said, well, why are you so... Oh, we're really busy, Colin. We're scoring probably 75, 80. I said, well, why are you so busy? He goes, because we're too cheap. I won't say who it is because people will be on the phone to him. I said, well, why are you too cheap? Oh, quoting. It takes... I said, just why are you not using some software like PSL Data Track? Oh, I don't know. I never really thought. Just get on the phone to him, sorted. So,
right. So
another simple things like
another installation for Jeff.
Potentially. But so that ties in with the PSL Data Track video and the Engineering Economic Indicator, if I could say that. EEI, it's a lot easier.
So this week's Week in Review, there's the top 5. There's the other videos that have been on our channel and released on our channel this week that you can go to the MTD CNC website and view.